Today I want to talk to you about prospecting for success. When you think in terms of prospecting, for a lot of people, it's the most hated part of the sales process. Prospecting for new leads, appointments, potential candidates, but really, this is the bread and butter of the pre-need industry. Prospecting, not to say that a person can't purchase leads, yes, but you still need to be able to prospect, and there's certain things that you can do to prospect. As I shared before, there's someone that I know that does about $1.7 million worth of business, and all they are, they're just at a flea market, on the weekends, and they're doing business at that flea market. They're getting customers, they're doing a little raffle, they're getting information from the customers, email address, phone numbers, and they're actually doing $7 million worth of business just from a flea market. So you have to determine what way is going to be most advantageous for you as it relates to prospecting. And because that's where the money is. Yes, it is sitting down and talking with the family and closing, but really it's amassing those appointments and the ability to sit in front of people. That is where your rewards are going to come from on how you prospect, and that can be anything from the referrals you get. I mean, I know people who utilize social media, Facebook ads, and they use cold calling, do mailing, radio, television advertisements, having clients over for dinner. I mean, that's a lost art, having people over for dinner. Who does that anymore? You should, because you can have them over for dinner, you develop relationships with them, and then you support them and help them. Speaking engagement, I've spoken in so many groups that just many groups that I've spoken to. I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of pre-needs just by speaking to groups. So there's a myriad of ways that you can prospect, and then there's lead generation. Now we do lead generation. I mean, we're reaching out to communities and resources with funeral homes, and actually there's individuals that we have to actually go in and work inside funeral homes. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we help you to generate leads, and we support you financially. Like if you want to do a mailer or something of that nature, so a person can purchase leads and mailers and things of that nature. We help you in that way. But there are a lot of, we talked about this earlier about the fear of influence. You definitely want to target your sphere of influence. But when you think and this is another way too, the power of referrals. When you put all of these things together, I mean, they're just powerful. But when you think in terms of, different ways you can prospect. So, and you may or may not be able to see this, so I'll make sure you get the slides, but I'm just going to read some of these things off too. You can write a letter, especially when there's a death and a passing in the family. You can write a letter to everyone in the family talking about, your desire to support them where they don't have to make the most difficult decisions for their lives or the worst day of their lives. You want to talk to them about a pre-need funeral plan where you can actually purchase your funeral in advance. You can write people letters and send them to them and then follow up with a phone call. You can carry a prospect letter with you, where you're actually, you say, wait a minute, carry a prospect letter with you. Where you're talking to someone, that said, hey, listen, what do you do? Well, actually, I have a little note here that talks about what I do in the pre-need plan. Give it to them, hey, let me get your information. So you swap information. You're just a little bit, letter, a little bit card that talks a little bit about what you do. You get their information, then you call them up and follow up with them. And you can do calling, telemarketing. You can, reach out to old contacts. You can do trade shows. Hispanic markets. I mean, that's something that is huge. A lot of business comes from that. You can send out emails to people that you know. Content marketing. Offer free wills and memorial planning guides. We have those resources that we can give to you. You can become part of a social group, whether it's a church or a civic organization. You can create your own website. That's something that you can do. You can connect with prospects on social media, LinkedIn, Yelp. You can attend relevant events. You can seek out potential network partners. Warm calling of lead. You can do an online poll, door knocking. Now, I remember somebody telling me, hey, listen, I don't like door knocking. Well, that might be you. But there are a lot of people out there that like door knocking. They've done the door knocking. They've been successful with it. And and they can also build teams that can go out together and go to different communities. Just because you like it doesn't mean that somebody, if you're building a team or recruiting, I can guarantee you somebody on your team is going to like that. So if you don't like it, don't poo-poo it, because, I mean, I've done a lot of deals by knocking on doors. Matter of fact, my first deals, that's how I did them, by knocking on doors. And it, it wasn't like, way back in the day. No. Matter of fact, I was knocking on doors probably about 4 weeks ago with an agent. So, I'm not above going out and doing whatever it takes. Speaking at civic organizations, helping people, carry groceries. There's a woman that I know, used to work for me, did about close to $300,000 pre-need business a month. She started out by helping people carry their groceries to the car. And that's the thing. There's not a lot of people I know that are doing $300,000 worth of pre-need business in a month. It's amazing how, when you humble yourself, because at the end of the day, she wasn't going by pretense and circumstance and, she was just being a servant. That's what happens. When you're a servant, I mean, there are rewards that come that you can't even imagine when you humble yourself and you're a servant. Setting up tables, at a smaller store, this is something that, nobody does, but, everybody wants to go and set up a table at Walmart. Well, how about setting up a table at the Dollar General store? Those people need pre-needs. Stores like that are smaller, still a lot of people, especially right now, people want value. There are a lot of people that are going to the Dollar General store that would be open to you if you're sitting out there, hey, listen, we're giving a raffle, we're giving a free will packet, blah, blah, blah. You're there, you're connecting with them. I mean, there's a lot of people who do a lot of business by targeting some of the small stores. Everybody wants to go to the Great White Hope well. I mean, when I say well, like Moby Dick, they want to go get the big fish, but there's a lot of small fishes out there that'll feed you very, very well if you would take advantage of it. You can do mailers, commercials on radio stations, develop a personal call list, create a website, develop a short video of yourself that you can send out to people. You can follow up and follow up and follow up, with people that are in your network. You can get paid leads, find ways to do services and community, hospitality, as I said, invite people over for dinner, set a certain amount of time where you are actually prospecting on the phone. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go about generating business. You just can't think of one. And it's good to have 3 or 4 different ways that you actually approach business. I'll make sure you get this as well. But again, just like goals, your prospecting needs to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So listen, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and look forward to speaking with you again soon.